Hi, Adrienne here, and welcome to Foundation Friday. Today's Foundation Friday, we are going to be reviewing Maybelline's Fit Me Poreless Matte Poreless Foundation in the shade Classic Tan, which is number 335. I also picked up the Cappuccino shade, which is number 340. Usually in any foundation brands, if there's a caramel or a cappuccino, that's typically my shade. I thought this might be a little too dark, but I wasn't sure, so I went ahead and picked up the Classic Tan. They are pretty similar in shade, but this one's a little bit lighter, the Classic Tan, so that's the one that I actually will be using for the review today. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the application, and then I will be back with my final thoughts. I'm going to be using the Classic Tan shade, and it is number 335. So I'll go ahead and give it a little shake to get it mixed. And I'm going to be applying it with a flat top kabuki brush. Normally I use the one that's completely flat. This one's kind of slanted because all my other brushes are dirty. And this brush is by Jessup. And I'm shaking it a little bit more, just getting it on my fingertips and dabbing it onto my face. I don't like applying foundation with my fingertips, but since this doesn't come with a pump, I guess this is the only way to apply it. Get a few dabs on the forehead, just a little bit more. The foundation feels very sheer on my fingers. Let me screw this top back on. I'm scared I will knock it over and spill it. Okay, so I'm going to start patting it in with the brush. Feels like it would dry down pretty fast so far, so I'm moving quickly, making sure I get it under the jawline. I'm not going to color correct anything for this application except for my under eye area and these little spots here on the side that I get from wearing my glasses on my nose. I always color correct those and put concealer on them. I want to take a peek at my forehead because I had some hyperpigmented spots from some pimples that I had over the last week, and I just had one last night that I popped, and it seems to be covering it up fairly decently. I don't know if you guys can see those two old scars from last week, hyperpigmented spots, but I want to make sure I blend real good there. It's covering them up fairly well. I'm not going to put any more foundation on them to try to get it to cover it completely because my hair is going to cover that. I like the blending so far. It seems like it's gone pretty fast and easy. Make sure I get around the mouth. Okay, it looks like I'm about done. Just looking down at my mirror in front of me here. So this is the finished application with no concealer or correctors, and this is what my skin looks like. Turn to the other side so you can see. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply my concealer and finish the rest of my face off camera, and I'll be right back. I checked the website for the description of this foundation and what it claims to do for the skin, and I'm going to look down at my phone. It says it's ideal for normal to oily skin and has an exclusive formula with micro powders that controls shine and blurs pores. I don't have large pores, so that's not as big of an issue for me, but I can definitely say that the foundation does a great job at drying down matte. The blending process, like I said, I did enjoy the blending process. Typically I don't like to blend foundation, and this one blends fast. It seems like you need to work with it quickly or it will dry down. It dries down to an absolute matte finish. I have not set my face with powder at all. I went ahead and put my blush and did my contouring, and I did some highlighting with the LA Girl Pro Concealer right in here in the T-zone. But other than that, I felt that my face was mattified enough that I didn't need to add any powder to it. And I finished my face off with Mary Kay Finishing Spray by Skindinavia. So that's what's on my skin now. This foundation, I did pick it up from Walmart, and it is $5.94 is what I paid for the bottle of foundation. What I've said about it during the application still holds true. I really prefer my foundations to have a pump with them so they're less messy and a lot more sanitary. I do love the finish of the foundation, but I feel like I'm getting bacteria in the foundation bottle every time I apply it because I'm sticking my fingertips over the top of it and going back in and getting more product. Yes, I am washing my hands before I apply the product, but I really wish Maybelline would maybe charge $1 more for the foundation and go ahead and throw a pump on that, so it would be a little more hygienic. But for a $5.94 price point, it's a fabulous foundation. It's a good foundation, even if it was a little more pricey than that, but it's nice to have something that you can get for such a reasonable price that has such good coverage. I will say that it is a medium coverage foundation. It didn't really cover full for me on the forehead. Those pimples that were up here, I had to go back in and add a little more foundation on my fingertips and dab it in to try to cover up the dark spots. So I do feel that you would need to use concealers underneath or color correctors with it. I think it did a fairly good job of covering up my hyperpigmentation on the sides of the cheeks here. I could go in with a little bit of orange color corrector around the mouth also to lighten that up, but I don't feel like it's absolutely necessary to get a good wear out of this foundation. I feel like it's very natural looking. The coverage on the skin, it doesn't look really cakey, but like I said, when I was dabbing it on my face, that it did feel sheer in the application. I'm really pretty happy with it. I'm happy to be trying it this time of the year. I think that I may be picking up the other dewy Fit Me foundation in the winter to review that for you guys. I don't think that the matte will be good fit for my skin type. I think I might get a little too dry with it, but it's very comfortable wear on the face. I've worn this foundation for I think 3 or 4 times I've worn it to work and just had a lot of play in it. So I know that I do already like this foundation quite a bit. I've never done a flash test with it, so I'm going to post a picture of a flash test here, and this flash test is going to be hours after I've had it on towards the end of the day for my final check-in. But I'm really excited to have a foundation that looks this good. That's only $5.94. I mean, that's quite reasonable. The only complaints I have for this foundation is it really needs to have a pump on it. Maybelline, if you're listening, just put a pump on it and it is the perfect foundation. But I would definitely recommend this foundation to someone who has combination skin, like it says, the normal to oily. I think it would be okay if you had kind of normal to dry skin, but you might not like it on the cheeks as much because it is going to dry down to a flat matte. But I think you would be able to get away with it in the summertime. I wouldn't try it at all in the winter if you're more of a dry skin type, but I definitely give this foundation a very high rating and would recommend it. And I'll probably purchase it again, just turning so you can look at my skin. I definitely would repurchase this again. So I hope this foundation review helped you in deciding if this would be the right foundation for your skin type. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. You'll also want to hit that notification bell next to the subscribe button so you get notified every time I release a new video. Thank you for watching and have a great day.